Yo, let's talk about some of the things that I love about living in Africa as a Black American. And I do want to give a balanced perspective, so I'll also mention the things that I don't like as much. That way you can get a full impression of what your experience will likely be like if you decide to relocate to the continent. Shalom, my name is No Limit Eddie. I'm an American who moved to Africa at 21 years old, and I'm documenting the entire 4-year journey right here on this YouTube channel to make your move to Africa even easier. If that sounds interesting to you, then drop a like on today's video. Let's start this list off with a cons: instability. Most African countries are built on a house of cards in general. Like, did you guys see what recently happened in the country of Tanzania? Because Tanzania is actually the country that I first moved to when I first left the US. What recently happened though was there was an election. President of the country at the time put all her opponents in jail, and then she paid people, Tanzanians, allegedly, to vote for her. And then likewise, when people protested and said this is a rigged election, she gave orders to the military to shoot and kill them. Hundreds of people died. And on top of that, those who didn't die during the protests are now being brought up on treason charges. And treason, just like in the US, carries a death penalty. Let me just throw this out here for all the American firsters. I have a lot of those in my comment section. Start saying, yeah, this is why America is better. I'll never leave America. Don't forget, we had J6, where people went ahead and stormed the Capitol building for reasons very similar to what happened in Tanzania. And America is the leading founder of democracy, right? They go over and create global wars to install democratic governments to these countries. And yes, the countries we go to just so happen to be profitable for the oil industry, and just so happen to be profitable with poppy seeds for the opioid industry, and just so happen to be beneficial to the military industrial complex, but it's mostly for democracy. This point about instability is not even about political instability, because like I said, that affects most countries around the world. I'm more so talking and speaking from the perspective of visa laws. You see, when you move to a new country, you need to get a visa. You need a way to be able to stay there long term. With many African countries, the visa laws change at the drop of a hat. And sometimes the law on the book can stay the exact same, but the policy that's being enforced can be very different. And this causes you to live in a constant state of uncertainty. How could you buy a house in a place that you have to leave every 3 months, right? Why would you buy a car in a place where next time you go, you may not get approved for a visa extension? It makes it to where you have to live in a constant state of uncertainty. Now, sure, that can be beautiful because it allows you to move and to travel, but I'm imagining not just for myself. When I make these videos, I make them for you. And you have a husband and children, or you have a wife and children, or you're a little bit older and you don't care so much for a spontaneous and pop in here, pop in there kind of a life. Where there is a will, there is a way. What I found to be the most effective, if you do really want to plant roots in a singular country, is a couple of options. Number one, you would just marry a local. In pretty much every single African country, if you marry a local, you don't get automatic citizenship, but you do get like a spousal support visa, which is pretty much the same as permanent residency. And after enough years, it turns into citizenship. Other option is you can buy a passport. Like places like Botswana are now offering citizenship by investment. So does Egypt. So you can buy a passport. The lowest cost you're going to spend is like $75,000, and that's just for the government itself. You also generally have to hire someone to kind of help you do that. So maybe you're looking more around 90 to 95,000, but that's the lowest cost, and that's going to be the one in Botswana. Now let's go on to our very first pro. And this pro is one that probably won't come as a shock to any of you guys, because most of the reasons you're looking to move abroad is the cost of living. It's just best to give you guys a real life example. So I was born and raised my entire life in Los Angeles, California. So when it was time to get my very first place, I got a 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Los Angeles. I was paying $1,700 per month for a 1-bedroom apartment, and they also made me pay for parking. LA is a scam. Let's compare that to my apartment over in Egypt that I made a video tour of. It went so viral, it got posted on World Star Hip Hop. But that apartment was fully furnished, mind you, and it was $160 per month. Okay, we can even compare, let's say, the country of Tanzania. I had a 6-bedroom house with a garden, with a servant's quarter, and a chicken coop built in, and I was paying $400 a month. When we compare just my rent alone, the $1,700 a month, to my cost of living as a total, right? That means food, transportation, rent, bills. Like, I can't spend $1,700 a month in any African country, okay? Unless I'm traveling. This video was all about the pros and the cons of moving to Africa, okay? But I know there's some of you who are watching this video right now who want to move to Africa no matter what I say, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And I was the exact same way, so I get you. However, there is one thing that's stopping your desire from materializing, and that is you don't know how you're going to make income. So if you want to know how I have been making money from my laptop while traveling the world full time for the last almost 5 years, click the very first link in this video's description. Once you click that link, you'll be able to watch a free 10-minute training video breaking down what it is that I do. And hey, if you really like it, you will be able to hop on a call with me to discuss us potentially working together. All right, so to watch this training and then potentially to apply to speak with me, go ahead and click the very first link in this video's description or visit www.nolimiteddy.com/video. Okay, like when I'm traveling, then yes, I spend a fair bit more, but that's because it's unexpected. Not unexpected, but it's travel expenses, right? You have to pay for Airbnbs, you have to pay for hotels, you have to pay for flights, you have to pay for, like the experiences and things like that you want to do. For me, I'm a content creator, so I got to pay for like the video expenses. And then on top of that, I always have an apartment somewhere else. So then I'm also paying my normal cost of living in one country plus the travel expenses. So then, yeah, you might spend more money. This is a major pro, but all of these pros also have can become cons, and all the cons can also become pros, right? When you really think about it. So one of the ways that this pro can become a con is that you can die a death of 1,000 paper cuts because things are so cheap. You can find yourself buying things you don't need to buy. Well, it's only this amount, or it's only that amount, it's only $2, it's only 50 cents, it's only this, it's only that. And that only mindset will cause you to end up spending more money than you spent in America because you bought so many things, not because you needed them, but because they were too good of a deal to pass up. And I've seen this happen 1,000,001 times. Again, I've been here for 5 years. I know hundreds of expats. Even the best money manager in the world needs income coming in, right? Because if you just have a set pool of money and you're just spending it constantly, even if you're quite frugal, your eventual end, your ultimate extreme is zero. And so I tell people that want to move abroad, that want to live abroad, that want to travel the world full time, you cannot save your way abroad, you must earn it. And if you want to know what it is that I do to live abroad and travel abroad and how I afford it, well, go ahead and click the very first link in this video's description. Okay, that video is actually going to be, or that link will take you to a training that I created, showing you what I do, explaining what I do, and even giving you the opportunity to speak with me about us potentially working together. Now, let's move on to the next con. The next con that I want to speak about is employment. See, if your plan is, I'm going to move to Africa based off my savings, right? Maybe I'm going to sell a house. I'm going to have a nice chunk of savings in my hand because I sold my home and I sold my car and I sold these belongings that I had. You're going to be in for a rude awakening. You see, I've known people who have sold their house, who have sold the cars that they owned, who have came to the continent with a large chunk of money by most regards, and they're not here anymore because of financial reasons. It's not so simple as just going out and getting a job here on a continent. Most jobs don't pay worth a dime, okay? I don't like to use profanity, so that's what I wanted to say. I did a blended average, okay? I looked at the average salary in Kenya, the average salary in Egypt, and the average salary in Uganda, like the monthly salary. And I added them all up and divided them by 3, and we got $373 is what the average person makes in those 3 countries. Remember, Egypt is actually almost always the first or the second biggest economy in Africa. You could work, and most of these people in these countries work 12-hour days, 6 days a week for hundreds of bucks a month. Most of us are not really willing to make that trade, right? Like my rent alone is the vast majority of the salary of the average Ugandan. Our lifestyles are not able to be afforded on the average salary. However, you need to understand that most of the Americans, 90% of Americans who are in the workforce are employed. Therefore, we know how to do what? work jobs. We don't know how to create businesses. Only around 10% of the American workforce is a business owner, and I would imagine those of us who look like us, that percentage is even smaller. So what will end up happening is, I've seen people do this where they do get jobs in a country, but they're doing it underneath the table. And it's almost like when you are like a Hispanic, a Mexican person, let's just say, and they come across the border, they're not going to get paid the same rate as an American would. It would have to be out of desperation for somebody to take these kind of a job. And it does happen where you're overseas, you have no money for a plane ticket, you barely can afford your rent, they have no money for food. Like, I'm telling you guys, this happens. And this is why, like, I advise people to find a way to make money online while you're still in the States. Okay, like while you're in America, while you're doing your planning, find a way to generate income online. So if you want to, right, like come to the continent of Africa, but you have a worry about like how you're going to generate income, how you're going to make money, that's understandable, right? Because like I said, I know people who came with 100,000, 50,000, 10,000, 5,000, right? And it doesn't matter how much you come with or how little you come with. What actually matters is how much is coming in on a monthly basis. You need to have a stream of income. If you want to know what it is that I've been doing to earn income while traveling the world, click the very first link in this video description and watch a completely free training video. When I say free, I mean you don't even have to enter your name or your email. You just click a link, watch the training video, it's right there for you. Watch the training video, and after that, like if you like what you hear, you will be able to book in a time to speak with me about us potentially working together. Okay, so that's the first thing in this video description, or you can go to www.nolimiteddy.com/video. For those of you guys who are watching on the TV, pull out your phone, type that link in. Now, the next pro that I want to mention is walkability. Most countries in Africa are extremely walkable. In the States, I can speak for Los Angeles, walking is an activity for the impoverished, okay? Like, if you have the ability to have a car and you do have a car, you take that car everywhere. Take the bus, the public transportation, it is dirty. I've seen people pee on the bus seats. I've seen people take a crap on the bus seats. I've seen fights on the bus. There are stabbings that happen all the time on the bus. My sister witnessed a shooting on a bus. Like, the bus is not safe and it's also dirty. Okay, so you're pretty much preferred to drive everywhere. So my life in America used to look like be in my house, walk outside, a little bit of sunlight, right? I'm walking just from my house to my car. Get in my car, drive to my destination, a little bit of sunlight in the time that I'm walking from my car into the next building, which would be the store or my work, or it would be the mall, wherever I was going, right? Then you go from the building back to the car, a little bit of sunlight, back home, and that's life, right? So it's just like building, car, building, car, building. We don't walk anywhere. In the continent of Africa, it's not based around driving a car. Most people don't even have a license, right? They built cities, they built neighborhoods to where they're walkable. I can walk to get my groceries, I can walk to get my laundry, I can walk to get some entertainment, right? You can pretty much walk everywhere, which is a beautiful thing. And so I love this because I'm able to go out every day, get my groceries, feel the sunlight. I'm able to be seen around my neighborhood so people know who I am, right, based off of that. And then I get to know other people too, right? You may see someone all the time and, hey, hello, you start passing by, you're talking to them. It's quite enjoyable to actually be able to walk freely and safely. This next con, right, this is the last con I'm gonna have for this video, and then we have one more pro. This one is big, this one is huge, because no one else speaks about it. And you don't experience this when you're just doing a vacation or when you're just doing a short trip. But when you move to a location, when you move to a country, you will 100% experience this. And it will be, for some people, worse than others. Feeling like a child. Not feeling like a child in a way where it's fun, it's like, oh, I'm curious, everything is new, it's exciting. You feel like a child in a position of ignorance and in a position of like dependence. You have to depend on other people. See, when you come to a new country, guys, you don't know anything. I'll give you an example. Let's get my hair braided. I don't know where to go to get my hair braided, so I gotta ask someone, where can I go to get my hair braided? They're gonna give me some recommendations. Then I got my hair braided. Okay, now I gotta figure out, well, where do I go to get a do-rag? Okay, I got my hair braided, I got a do-rag. Okay, perfect. Now I need to figure out, well, no, actually, they may tell me where to get the do-rag, and I may be like, well, how do you even spell that place? All right? Because it may not be in a local, it may not even be in an English language. It may be in Luganda, or maybe in Swahili, maybe. So how do you spell that? This. Okay, got it. Then I get there, then I gotta still ask other people, where is this at? Where is this at? Showing people photos. And you may think, well, like, you don't really need people to do that. No, Google Maps does not work here, okay? Does it? Do they have Google Maps? Yes. Do people leave reviews? No. 96% of businesses you're gonna go to, guys, are not gonna be on Google Maps, right? And so you need locals who have been here, who have been living here for a long time to tell you like how to do these things or where to go for this thing or where to go for that thing. You cannot do everything on your own. The quality of your trip, the quality of your time in the country will be based upon who you have around you. Because there's some people you can ask a question to, and they're going to give you recommendations based off what they think you will like. And they may think you like certain things because you're a foreigner and you may not actually care about those things. So where can I get my hair done? Go to this place, this in Kololo. It's going to be the most expensive shop because they think, oh, well, he's a foreigner, he'll probably, right? Or they may not even know where to actually go for certain items that you want, because you as a foreigner have certain requests that they as a local never even thought about. You do run into that, to where I know I love Uganda and I have a good time in Uganda because I'm almost always dating a woman who's from Uganda. So it's like, oh, I can ask them, yo, where can I get this? Where can I get that? And because they have a vested interest in me because we're dating, they don't want me to get overpriced. They don't want me to be scammed. They know I'm a bit of a frugal person. So they don't know, oh, okay, Eddie's like this. Let me tell him here. Let me tell him there. Or let me even go and get it for him, because I know the people, if they hear him speak this English, they're gonna. That's why I have such a good time here in Uganda. Here's the thing too, you might be dating a woman who is absolutely and utterly useless. Okay, that is a possibility too. Okay, to where they don't know anything because they were so sheltered. Maybe their parents did everything for them, or they just lived a life to where everything was kind of catered for them, so they don't even know where to buy oils or where to buy do-rags or where to buy t-shirts or where to buy these different things, okay? So that can happen. Or they can also just be a gold digger too, right? If that's the case, maybe they don't even care about getting you the best deal or getting you the best price or anything like that. They may even want to get money out of you. So they may say, oh, it's really 10,000, but the item is really 3,000. You give them 10, they buy it for 3 and then pocket the X. That happens a lot too, so be mindful. Now, this right here is the final pro that I want to talk about, and I never really spoke on it in detail, but I'm going to do it now. This pro has to do with the spirit of the land. You see, the more I traveled around, I realized that in some places I felt anxious. In other places I felt stressed. In some places I felt peace. In some places I felt motivated. Different lands carry different spirits. And this was just a thought that I had in my mind, a theory that I had in my mind for quite a while, until I came across a verse in Daniel 10 and 13, I think it is, where it confirmed that, oh no, okay, I was accurate. Lands have spirits. And this explains why I can go to Egypt and have a ball of a time, and someone else can go to Egypt and have the worst experience of their life. Well, I can go to Kenya and absolutely not like it. Someone else can go to Kenya and absolutely love it. The spirit of the land resonates with the spirit of the person. What I've found is that depending on the country, and this is why I tell people you cannot pick the country you're going to move to until you actually move there. You should not make big bets on like, I'm moving here, I'm never leaving this place, until you actually get there and experience it. If you are feeling like maybe depressed where you're at currently, a change in countries can very much affect that. If you are feeling unmotivated where you're at, a change in countries can very much affect that. Like, I've never been more productive in my life than when I was in Johannesburg, South Africa. I think I was only there for maybe 2 weeks, right? Then 2 weeks there, 2 weeks in Cape Town, and like another few days in Joburg. So a little over 2 weeks. I don't know how, I may have gotten out 14, 15 videos filmed during that time. Right? I don't even know if I put all the videos out that I filmed in South Africa. I think I still have footage. So you can go to a place and just feel ultra motivated. So the spirit of the land to me is a big one, as far as a pro, right? You can really change large portions of your life, but it's moving abroad. Now, with that being said, guys, I have over 4 years worth of content on this channel, so don't stop here. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll love the video where I go over all the reasons why, even after over 4 years of living abroad, I have no plans of returning to the US. Check it out now.